others also. I've started the recording for today's session. So I'll not be showing that thing again, but yes, if anybody wants to get my help with the same, I will help you out after the class. So we'll spend around 10-15 minutes helping out people who are facing issues with that. Okay. Okay. So let's start. Now, one more thing. So every day when you are, you are working with your, yeah. So when you are working with your instances on AWS, once you are done, make sure to stop your instance. So how will you stop your instance? So you'll have to select it from here. Okay. And after that, you have to.
Kyle, please record the session.
Sorry.
I want to make sure, are you recording the session?
Yeah, it's recording. Recording has started. Okay. Yeah. So every time, every day when you are done with your session, with your, practice of the server, so you can see the instance is appearing as running right now, right? So whenever, although this is a free tier, so when we started this instance, we created this instance, this is a free tier instance. It's not going to charge you anything. But as and when we go ahead, when we create the cluster, right? So we'll be having instances which are not going to be free. Okay, so they're going to be charged something out of it. It's, although it's a very minimum charge, but over time, if you keep this instance running, it's going to be a little costlier. Okay, so let's say what instance. So currently we are using T2 Micro. It is only 1 GB RAM and around 1 week core, right? So it's not going to charge anything. But when we're going to create a cluster, there's going to be increase. It's going to be T4.x large, which is about 16 GB RAM and 16 week old and 4 GB RAM. So that's going to charge us around 0.201, I think, dollars per hour. So costing in AWS is going to be hour basis. So start having a habit of stopping your instances when you are done practicing. Okay, so you'll have to select it from here, click on the instance state, and you have to stop the instance. Okay, so when you click on this, it will be stopped. I'm not going to do that right now because we're going to start with it. Okay, so once you're done, make it a habit of selecting your instance and stopping it. Now make sure do not terminate it. Okay, so the words are clearly like indicating that terminate means you are actually deleting this instance. You are deleting the server. Okay, you don't want to delete it until you are completely done with your practice and stuff. So keep it in stop state and it won't charge you anything. Okay, make it a habit. All right, another habit I want you to make when you are working with AWS. Okay, I think Tasin, if you are here on the call, I'll share you with the attendance list. Okay, on the WhatsApp itself.
Okay, thank you. And can you also check if Isa if you can hear Isa? I think something wrong with his microphone every time we talk. We couldn't hear him for some reason.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Tasin?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I think it's fixed then.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Well, I'm talking to my phone. I figured out what is the problem, but I will.
Okay, perfect.
So that's why I'm signed up from both my phone and my laptop.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll talk to you after the session, if anything. All right, thanks. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I think because Isa, you have joined from two things, right? That's why it was echoing. Okay, no problem. So somebody was asking about, okay, Imtiaz is asking about what is reboot instance. So reboot, as the name suggests, it's stopping and starting, Imtiaz. So if you click on the reboot thing, it will stop it first and then it will start it again. It's a reboot. Okay. These two options are currently not available because in started state, you cannot start the instance again, first of all. There is another option of hibernate. Hibernate means that you are pausing the state of your instance. So let's say if you have some server running, something running on this instance, and you want to, when you restart it again, you want to start it from the same state. In that case, you can hibernate, but that also can be done only after stopping. Okay. So another habit that I was talking about is every day, make sure to click on your networking. Sorry, not networking. Click on your security. Scroll it down. Click on your security group. This is your security group of the instance that you create. Click on actions. Edit inbound rule, not outbound. Okay, so in what is security group first of all? So any EC2 instance can be secured of connections both to the instance and from the instance. So when I say to the instance, so anybody who wish to connect to our instance, he should have proper security group setting in the inbound rule. So let me click on this. Okay, so right now you can see this is my inbound rule of the server. It says all traffic. So in computer science, computer network, whenever you are working with any server, okay, any server, it's going to have some ports through which you can connect. Okay, any server, any device, even your laptops, even your computers or your mobile phone, they are also kind of a server only. Okay, they are smaller version of it. So any device in computer science, anyone, when I say anyone, it can be other devices, other people, other applications. Anyone can connect to a server over a predefined range of ports. Okay, so if I, and the ports are basically the TCP ports. So there are various protocols through which you can connect first of all. Okay, and one of the protocol, sorry, and one of the protocol is basically TCP. So when we say various ports, they are basically TCP ports. So if I just scroll down and select, you can see it's asking for the ports. Okay, port number. Now port number has a particular range. I'm trying to find that range so that I can, yeah, this is the range from 0 to 65535. So these are predefined and you cannot have more or less than these. Okay, and to give you to make you understand in a way, so whenever you, let's say you want to charge your laptop, right, you connect your charger inside an electricity board or electricity plug, right? That's also a kind of port. So port is a way through which external entities can connect to my server. Okay, and it can be physical, it can be over the network also. When I say ports, this is basically over the network. This is not a physical port. This is when you are running an application and you want to connect it through it over the internet or over the network, then you can use one of these ports. Okay, just this information is like enough for now. I'll explain more on this as we go ahead. Now, this was about TCP, which had a predefined ports. Apart from TCP, there are other protocols also. And if you want to study on this, you can also study, but that is just a basic thing, basic knowledge you should have. But it's not, we don't want to go much deeper into it when we're talking about Hadoop. So TCP, UDP, then you have SMTP. You can, just you can just Scroll it down and you will see all the different kind of ports also appear in here. You can read about it. Then there is simple SSH that basically runs on TCP port 22. So some of these ports, they are predefined. So when I told you last time to SSH, to run that SSH command, if you guys remember that, and we'll do that today again. So that SSH was basically using the server port 22. It's a predefined. Okay, so if let's say you want to give only other people to give access to only SSH on your server, so what you can do is you can add rule, you can do SSH, then you can type in that particular user's IP address. So let's say I want to give access to ESA laptop. So I'll ask him his IP address of his laptop, and then I can place it in here and I can give him access. So security group, if you want other people, if you want to give access to them, you can just edit this. You can add a rule. You can define what kind of traffic you want to give the access for. If you want to give all traffic, that basically means all the ports and TCP and UDP, just select this option, which I had done earlier. I will delete this for now. I'll again make it all traffic. And so for this is for the understanding. Okay, the next thing that I wanted you to have a habit of is to always come here, click on custom again, click on my IP. So what will happen is some days you will see that IP address will be same. Some days this will keep on changing. Now IP address, that is basically how we are, how we are addressed over the internet. And every day or every time you reconnect to the network, it's gonna be changed. Okay, so it's also like a predefined thing. It will be keep on changing every time you reconnect to your network. You can also test that. Okay, so probably today because I didn't rebooted my laptop from the last class time, so the IP address didn't change. But if I might reboot, if I might reconnect to some other network, this is bound to change. And that's why every day, whenever you reconnect to your server, always come to the security group, inbound rule, change all traffic. This will remain same, but you should come here and click on my IP. And if it's changed, it's fine. You can save it. Otherwise, it will say that you have not done any changes and you can cancel that. Okay, so this will ensure that we don't uh, find difficulty in connecting to our server. Okay, so that being said, now let's SSH to our server or connect to it. So we will use the IP address, public IP address. Okay, one more thing. I think I didn't give you understanding of it. So over the network, when we are talking of EC2 server, there are basically two kind of IP addresses. Okay, so one is a public IP, the other is a private. Okay, so whenever public IP is basically address of server over the internet, while private IP is address or how the server is identified, address of the server over the private AWS network. Okay, first of all, everyone should understand what basically means an IP address. Okay, IP address is basically how a server is identified over the network. It can be public network, it can be private network. Now, networks can be of two type: public, which is basically your world wide web or the internet, and it can be a private network wherein you can think it of as a organization which has its own internal network of computers. Okay, so it's basically internal to any organization. Even you can create your own private network. These are all networking concepts. Okay, now whenever you want to be identified over the internet, you can use your public IP address. So anyone, if you want other people to have access to your server, let's say you are hosting a website on this AWS machine and now you want to make it public, so you can advertise your website address using the public IP address. Mostly you don't see IP addresses that can be changed to its host name. I'll also show you that. But yes, that is basically linked to a public IP address over the internet. But in AWS, if you want to talk internally between servers, so let's say if I make few more servers in here, 2 3 more servers, and I want the second server to be able to connect to my first server, which is this one, then I will not use the public IP address. I will use the private, which is this one. Okay, so every server on the AWS can have two IP address. One is a private, one is a public. If you want, you can remove the public address, but yes, private will always be there. And it's basically how your server will be identified over the private network of the AWS. Okay, so that being said, since I want to connect from my laptop, which IP address should I be using? I should be using my public IP address of the server, because this IP address is only available over the internet if you want to talk to your server. So I will copy this. Let's open Movex term. Okay, for some people, I think this was having issues. So I recommended you can also use, so you have to do Windows R, then type CMD. So you could have also used SSH. Windows 10 will always have SSH on the command prompt. This is already available to your system. Okay. So Windows 10 or Linux people or Macintosh, the operating systems, you can use your terminal in the Macintosh or command prompt in Windows, and you can run the same SSH command which I am running from Mobexter from there also. Okay. Okay, so, but I'll use Mobexter. Yeah. So SSH hyphen I think b9.pem. Let me check. Yeah, b9.pem. So SSH hyphen I b9.pem is my security key which I created when I was creating the server, followed by CentOS @ I'll paste the public IP and connect to it. Now, just to show you people who are facing issues with Mobexter, just open command prompt and you can also connect with the same command here also. Type yes here and you will be connected. Okay, it's giving me permission denied, I think. I'll have to change some permissions. I will have to make it for, okay, it's not present in this current location. That's why. So I can copy it to this location, the b9.pem file, and also connect. So I'm not copying it right now, but yes, in this location, this b95 should be present, and then you can also connect using the same command for the people who are facing issues with Mobexter. All right, so now we are connected to this Linux server. Okay, now let's talk something about Linux first. Okay, any questions up till here? Anything you couldn't understand? Anyone? So we haven't talked much about like internal Linux, but it's just basic thing. What is a server? What are the various protocols? How you can connect? What are the IP addresses? Then I talked about two more things you should remember every time. Once you are done working, stop your instance, and once you have just started working, make sure to change the inbound rule to my IP address in the security group. Okay, so let's talk about operating systems and what they are exactly first. Okay, anybody has idea of operating system? Can they explain what is an operating system? Just anything you know about it. Okay, make an habit of speaking also, guys. You know, when you are working in your organization, you will have to communicate a lot. So technical is also required. Your communication skills is also pretty much required, although not that much. But yes, you should be able to communicate your thoughts and whatever you want to convey. Okay, so start speaking also in the class. Okay, anyone with operating system can you explain me? He she.
I think it's a system of working with the computer hardware and software.
Right, exactly. Anybody else? Okay, so whenever we talk of any device, it has two components, right? It has a hardware component wherein you can think of your screen, your keyboard, all those stuff. Then there is a software component. You know your applications, like in here you can see I have this Chrome application, all this stuff. So which thing will coordinate between these two? So when I type, let's say I'm writing something on this Notepad plus plus application, I'm basically writing it from my keypad, right? Now, this interaction between the software and the hardware is basically coordinated by the operating system. So, operating system, that is also a software, is a software which manages my hardware, my devices, hardware and software components, and ensure proper interaction between both. Okay, so all this interaction is basically done by my operating system. Now, there are various kind. Right now on my laptop, this is basically a Windows operating system. Then you can have Macintosh. On your mobile phones, you can have iOS, I think. Also, you can have Android and iOS. These are also Macintosh, iOS, Android. These are all derived from Linux only. Okay. Then we have Linux operating system. Now Linux also has various in like different kinds. So you have Red Hat Linux. Then you have CentOS Linux. Then you can have Ubuntu. You can have Fedora, and so on. There are various different versions people have created. You can also create your own version of Linux and sell it in the market, or if you want to make it freely available, you can also do that. Okay. So there are various different versions of Linux also available in the market, and it's basically an operating system only. And mostly large servers tend to use Linux because benefits of Linux. First of all, it's very secure and robust. So you don't need to, install antivirus. It's prone to, although there are some internal virus which have come up these days, but even that can be managed without antivirus. So you don't need to install any antivirus softwares on Linux. Second, easy to use. Although right now you might think, okay, it's just a black screen, there is no UI and everything. But as and when you start using it, you will become more familiar with it. You will find that it's very easy to use it. And easy to manage the network and other software components. So these are like 2-3 things which I have listed out, but yes, there are various other benefits of Linux over time. As and when you start using it, you will figure out that they are pretty good. And most of the companies, most of the environments around the world in organizations they use Linux operating system on their servers. Some of them you can also find some Windows server also, but mostly they're using a Linux operating system because of the various benefits that it helps, that it has. Okay, so what we are using for this course is basically a CentOS Linux. You can remember when we were installing, you can also go back to the previous video and check. When we were installing the server, we used a CentOS 7. CentOS 7 is the latest version. You can have our older versions also, CentOS 6, CentOS 5. Basically, CentOS 8 is the latest one, but we are still using CentOS 7 because it's the most stable one. So we are using CentOS Linux version 7. You can also check it from the version from on the server also, but I'll show you that with the command later. From here also you can check it. Your AMI name. AMI is Amazon Machine Image. Okay, so it's just an image of or just a file that has been created out of CentOS 7, which is a Linux version 7. The rest all are its like more tagging things. EBS, ENA are basically storage type. EBS is the storage type. I'll tell you more on this when we talk of storage in AWS. Okay. And for our clusters also we will be using the same thing. So for practice server as well as the 3 node cluster. Node basically means server only here. 3 server cluster will be also be deployed using this environment. Okay, now let's talk about interaction with Linux. Okay, so let's just compare our interaction with Linux to how we interact on Windows or let's say Macintosh. Okay, so okay, let's say I want to go to my downloads folder and check what all files are there in my download folder. So how would you do it on a Windows environment? Pretty easy. You will use your mouse, right? You'll use your mouse. You'll click on this folder section. Then you will click on the downloads first folder section, and then you can see all the files directly from the UI, right? Pretty easy. But if I want to do a similar thing on my Linux environment, one second. Yeah. So if I do the similar thing on my Linux environment, let's say first of all I want to see what all directories or what all folders are there. I can easily see that when I click on this folder option of my Windows, I can see all these on the left hand side are the folders. All these are with various different folders available, right? Similar thing you can do on Linux with the command ls. Okay, so ls will be our first command. It stands for list. So not only your folder, but it will also list if there are any files over here. Right now, I don't have any file in the location that I am currently sitting into. Okay, so let's now figure out. So you can see which location you are currently sitting into on your Windows from here at the top. So since right now I am in downloads folder, this is the location I am currently sitting into, which is downloads folder. If I click on documents, I will come into the documents folder. I can see that I am currently into documents folder from this top tab. How can you check that on Linux? So the command to check that is pwd. Pwd tells me where I am currently sitting into. Pwd, it stands for present working directory. So currently you can see I am sitting into the home/CentOS location. Okay, so now in Linux, how are different locations defined? There is no command. I'll just explain this one. Definition of locations, or you can say folders, you can say drives on Linux. So the root or the base location is your slash. The slash is your base location on Linux. Then if you keep on adding more locations, so let's say if I want, everything will start with a slash. That's the base location. Now if you want to add some more folders within slash, you can have slash home. You can create more folders also, but these are by default available. You have slash user slash bin, so different kind of folders. Let me show you what all are there. So I'll use the ls command, and this time I will be doing ls over a path. So ls can be followed by a path also for a location. You also call it path. Okay, so I'll do a ls on the slash location on the server. So ls slash, these are the different folders available. So right now I wrote down about home, I wrote down about USR, but you also see temp, sys, SRV. See, these are all local server systems. Okay, similar to how you have program files. So if you click on this PC on your Windows C, let's say. So by default, these are all our folders. You can see a users folder. You can see a temporary folder. Then there are some program files, program file x86. I know. I think most of the people who might have used your laptop a lot, you can see all these. So these are by default. Whenever you install Windows, they come by default. Similarly, when we install Linux, these are the by default folders available in slashware. Okay, similarly, you can have multiple. I'm just listing it all down here. Okay, so as and when, if you keep on adding more, so uh, if you want to check the complete path, you can use another option with ls. Let's use -l slash. Now it's giving a long listing. It's giving me more information. So I can see some information at this in the left hand side. I'll explain you what exactly that is. But on the right hand side is basically the date on which this folder got created and more things, and information about the location. Oh, sorry, the folders. Okay, since we have talked about -l and ls option, let me tell you more options available with ls. So -l basically is, okay, so the command will be like this: ls hyphen, then your option, then the location. So first is l. L basically means listing or long listing. Okay, since this was a short listing, if you want more information, you can use -l. It will give you long listing and more information about it. Then if you want your sizes, so right now you can see these are the size of each file. Right now you can see blunt numbers, and you will have to, these are basically bytes by default. But if you want them to appear as KB or MB, that human readable format, you can use -h, which is basically human readable. Okay, so if I again run this command now with both options L and option H, you can see the difference. Although earlier it was appearing as a number, now it's appearing as 4.0 kilobytes. 2720 is 2.7 kilobytes, 8.0 kilobytes. K. So it has it's prefix suffixed K. Similarly, if it would have been a larger file, let's say in MB, GB, that would also appear as a M, as a G. So it has made my life simpler by giving me a human readable format with a hyphen H option. Now, if you want to list out in terms of sorted order in terms of time. So right now you can see this is not sorted, right? February 29, 2020, a file which was created is coming first rather than January. So I can use another option which is T. So as soon as I use T, you can see it has been sorted. So January 22nd, all the files which were coming there are coming first. Okay, somehow January 18 is also coming. I'll have to check why exactly is that. I think it's basically sorting. Okay, let me reverse sort it and check. Yeah, so I think uh, only with the time sorting is giving some issues. It's giving January 18 later. But if you so there's another option of R, which is basically reverse sorting. T, I'll have to check why exactly it's not giving me the correct thing, but I think it's a time based sorting. Okay, so as soon as I use reverse sorting, the latest file or the older file, sorry, they started coming first. So April 18, 2018, then February. No, again, since still there is some issue, I think I'll have to check why exactly, what exactly am I missing over here. Okay, so let's say if you're having issues with any command, right? Like just now, I'm having issues with the R and the T option. So what I can do is I can use another option, another help command, which is man followed by ls. So since I want information on ls, I will use man ls. To understand a command better, so as soon as do man ls, this kind of thing will open. You can use your space bar to scroll down and to see all the options. So, okay, so you can see ls basically means list directory contents. It has an option that you can pass, and all these are below are the options. So you can use the space bar to scroll down after hyphen b. So we are interested in hyphen l, as I told you, is a long listing format. There are other options also, you can explore these also, but the most widely used I'm using. Okay, I had issue with R. So R definitely means reverse order while sorting, so this is fine. Hyphen T is sort by the modification time, newest first. So modification time, I think these two are still fine, but okay, we'll have to check what exactly logic we are missing when we are sorting it. But yes, You can check about any command in the Linux environment. If you want more information on this, just use man space the command. There are options like -s. If you want to print only the size, then if you want to sort in terms of word, time, then -u. So you can explore list one line per file, -1, -x is sort alphabetically. So there are various other options you can uh, explore them while using the list command or the ls command. Now, if you want to quit out of it, just press the Q key on your laptop, and you'll click quit out of it. Okay, somebody has a question, I think. Yes, Imtiaz, tell me.
Oh, hi, Uday. So when I typed ls, because I don't have any folders created, so it shows nothing. So I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. But when I put that backslash,
Hmm.
ls space backslash, it shows me some folders, maybe bin, dev, home, those ones. So
Yes, right.
those are the root files you said?
Right, right. These are the root files. So slash basically means root. I'm coming to the root thing. Okay, slowly. Yeah. So basically,
So those,
not
okay,
showing.
yeah.
It was not showing anything on this folder was because this is my CentOS user folder. I'm coming to the user concept also. So when I do pwd, the current directory that I'm sitting is slash, then inside home, then inside home we had a CentOS folder, and that's basically my user folder, and that's why it has. Since I don't have anything over here, it's not showing me. Even if I do the long listing, you can see that there is nothing, total zero. There is nothing available over here. But since, as I told you, so you have the base or the root thing that starts from slash. If I did ls over slash, there are various other folders in the slash already available. Okay. Now you can also have done the same ls which I was doing right now on this folder, which is same. So if I do ls over this folder, or if I just do ls right now, because I'm already sitting in this folder, they will both give me the same result. Okay. Okay, let's move. So this is about man. Now let's say if I want to change a directory. So right now, although I'm sitting on slash home slash CentOS, let's say I want to go into the slash directory or the root directory. So to change a directory, you have command cd. Just like on your laptop, if you want to change a directory, you just have to click on it, right? And you will be changing the directory. Similarly, over here, you can use cd command to change your directories. So if I do cd slash, I'll now be sitting on a slash folder. That will also appear on the left hand side over here. I'll explain what exactly this sign means. But since now you're sitting on the slash, it's will be showing a slash. Now if I do ls, all these will print out because now I'm sitting in the slash. I can check that using the pwd also. Pwd says you are sitting on slash. Okay. Now let's say I again want to go. Let's say I want to go in this home folder. Home folder. So I can do cd. Either I can give the complete path slash home, or since I am already sitting in slash, I don't need to provide the slash again. I can just give home, and I will be sitting in home now. Let me do ls. You can see there is a CentOS folder. Since I only have one user, we haven't come to the concept of user right now, but yes. So if I do ls now, it's basically only CentOS folder is available in my home. This is my current location. Similarly, I can go to CentOS also. So I could have done only CentOS since I'm already sitting on home. Otherwise, I could have also done like cd/home/CentOS. Both of them would have worked. So this is my complete path. This is my reference path. Since I'm sitting in home, I can just type cd CentOS. So this is how you change directories. Okay. Since we are talking about directories, how do you make a directory? So I'm sitting in the same location. There is nothing available. I would want to make a directory. So I can use command mkdir. Similarly, how you on your Windows, you just have to right click on new folder. This way you can create new folders, right? Similarly, you can create new directories by mkdir. So let me make a directory named Sahil. If I now do ls, I can see Sahil is created. I can go to Sahil folder. Okay. This way you can create a directory. So cd is for changing directory. Command is like cd, then path. Now there is another option with mkdir. Let's say I want to make multiple cascaded directories. Okay, so within this Sahil folder, I want to make more directories. So let's say I want to make directories like Sahil, then Hadoop. Then within Hadoop, I want batches folder. Within batches, I want 9, batch number 9. Within that, I want hdfs folder. Okay, so I want a directory structure like this. So I can do something like mkdir followed by -p. P will create all these directories one by one. Now, if you don't use -p, you cannot create it. It will say, okay, no such file or directory. Because all that's right, we don't have an. So what mkdir expect is all these directories up till here should be already be created. Then only it will create the last one, which is hdfs. So all this should already be there. But since they are not here, I will use the -p option. So now it has created all these directories. You can do ls over Hadoop. You have batches folder within Hadoop batches. You have the 9 folder, and so on. It has done all the work for me. Within 9, you have the hdfs folder. So -p. If you want to make multiple cascaded directories. Okay. Yeah. So we have so far talked about directories. Let's talk about files. So I'll go back to cd slash. I will do ls. Okay, one more thing, one more option that is important with ls is -a, which refer to all files. So basically, in Linux, you have two kind of files: one which are hidden, one which are not hidden. Okay. So if I do over here itself, if I do ls-lar or just la, I'm not using the other options. We can use h for human readable. Now you can see all these folders, but there are like two more kind of things available. Dot refers to the current directory. Double dot refers to the directory before the current directory. But yes, you can have hidden files also. And hidden files starts with a dot. So there are hidden files whose name starts with a dot. Then there are normal files which can be named anywhere out. Okay, so if I give you example, dot sahil hidden, this will be a hidden file. So if I just create it, let's say over here only, the command to create a 0 byte file or a 0 size file is touch. Okay, let me write it down. Command to create a 0 byte file. Okay, so if I do touch, then I type in dot followed by the file name. Okay, since I am CentOS user, I cannot create a file in slash because that belongs to a root user. I'll talk about users soon. Okay, so let me just come back to my own folder. This tilde sign is basically if you want to come to your home folder or your home location, which is /home/CentOS for the CentOS user. Or you could have also done /home cd/home/CentOS. Okay, so these are like a shortcut. If you want to come back to your home, you can use cd, then this tilde sign on your laptop. Okay, so I will have back to my home. I will create a hidden file like this. Now you can see that if I just do ls, this file will not come up. Only Sahil folder is coming up. But if I want to see this file, I'll have to use -a. So not just my hidden file, now you can see there are multiple different hidden files already available. These are default files: bash history, bash logout, bash profile, bash rc. These are by default environment files that Linux create. Then there is a .ssh. This will be used every time you SSH to a server. And this is the file that I created. So you can see there are various hidden files also available, and you can list those using a -a option. Okay, in the list command. Okay, so normal files can be simply listed, and you can just use either the touch command to create that, or if you want, there are other commands also which we'll talk about. Okay, now next is, let's create a file and write something to it. Okay, so far these all files. If you just do touch, let's say touch file 1, if I do ls, I have file1 created. If I want to check the size of it, let's do ls hyphen lh. So you can see file1 is a 0 byte, right? Now if I, let's say I want to create a file and write something to it, I have another command or another, it's an editor basically in Linux. So that just how this notepad is an editor, right? On Windows. On Linux, you have an editor called VI. Okay, so VI followed by, let's say I want to create file 2. As soon as I enter it, it will enter a editor, and I can see at the bottom, this is my file name. It says it's a new file, and I have entered the location to write to it. Now, okay, okay. Now VI editor, as soon as I enter it, it basically has two modes. One is a command mode. So by default, we enter the command mode. This is right now we are into the command mode of the VI editor. The other is a insert mode. And you have to enter I on your laptop to enter the insert mode. So if I want to write something to it, right, I cannot write. Like right now I'm trying to write something, but I cannot write to it because by default I enter the command mode. But if I want to write to it, I'll have to press the I key on my laptop. As and when I type the I, you can see at the bottom it says insert, and now I can start typing. Okay, welcome to batch 9 of the Hadoop course. Okay, so this way I can keep on writing to this file in Linux. Okay, so now as and when I am done writing, I will press the escape key to come out of the insert mode. So press I to enter and press escape key on your laptop to exit this mode. So when I press escape key, I have exited this insert mode and I am again back to the command mode. Now I want to save my file. Okay, so I can save it using colon. Just keep your eyes at the bottom over here. So colon followed by W. If I just press colon W and I press enter, this will say, it says written. This file has been written with this content. Okay, so in command mode, press colon followed by W to save a file. Press colon Q if you don't want to save to unsave and quit. But if you want to save and quit, so :WQ to save the file and quit. Okay, so now I want to save this file and quit out of it. So I will use :Q and quit. If I do ls, you can see file2 is created. If I do ls-lh to see the size, it has some size. It's not 0 byte, just like file1. It is of 94 bytes. Now, if I want to print the content of my file, so command 11 is print the content of my file on the screen. You can use cat, cat command. So cat followed by file name. Cat, then your file name, which is file2, and this is the content of this file2, which we wrote. So, okay, I hope everyone is clear with it. These are very basic commands. If you want to interact with Linux, you should at least know these commands, basic command, how to create a directory, how to change the directory, how to create a file, and how to write to a file. Okay, so these everyone should know. Now let's move on to some more advanced things. Any questions with these? Although they're pretty straightforward, you just need to know the file, like the commands. Any questions? Okay, good. Abrar says not yet. Okay, so let's talk about some advanced topics. Number one is users. Okay, users. Okay, so just like so let's say if you have your own laptop, right? And that laptop has an administrator user. So let's say if I want to run command prompt also, you see PowerShell admin and simple PowerShell. So these are two options. So there is something called as an admin user, admin person of any laptop or any device. Similarly,
Sahil,
yeah, who's this?
Abrar, Sahil.
Yes,
I
yes.
have a very quick question. Quick question for you. That you are doing it in Mogastan. But
Huh?
as you know that I am not able to download Mogastan, so I will do it everything on run, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
Mobex term is it's just a application I'm using to connect to my server. Everything is being done on the server only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we are actually connected to this server using Mobex term. When I did SSH, you remember, right? So let me just come out of it.
Right.
This is my server IP address.
Right.
So Mobex term is just an application to connect to this server, nothing else. You could do the same thing from your command prompt. So, okay.
Which is run. Right.
Yes, this SSH.
Okay.
This is
Yeah.
basically how I
Okay.
connect.
SH.
So any device,
Okay.
any application in the world which can let you can use putty also. Putty is also an application. You can search it on the
Mm-hmm.
internet.
Right.
Any application in
So
the world.
and
Yeah,
go ahead. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm just wondering, like the D9 pen, which I have to actually save it on the user. What is my user file on
CentOS.
that? So you know what? Like, yeah, exactly. It's not the CentOS one, the
Hmm.
D9 pen, the one I downloaded. So I will save it on that file on the run, which I saw it in my run file. Let me show you this.
Yeah, you can save so that b9.peb. You can save it anywhere. Then from where you are doing SSH, right? You should mention
Right.
complete path.
Okay.
So right now when
Okay.
I was doing SSH, I just saved this file in the same location. You can see Mobaxterm. This Mobaxterm folder is basically always present in the
Mm-hmm.
documents. For Mobaxterm,
Mm-hmm.
home. In here, I have that B9 file, which
Okay.
is yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you can
Okay.
just make it available. First time when you will download it, it might come to your downloads folder. You can just copy
Yes.
from
Yes.
there to here. Just
Right.
copy.
Yeah. So that like
Yeah,
in run when I put the CMD and then it's users isabrar. So which is
yeah,
I will go to my users and the isabrar folder. I will save that B9 pen on that
exactly,
isabrar
exactly.
folder.
So let me just show you.
Okay.
So let me just copy it from here,
Yeah.
and let me just go to my users. So for going to your users folder, it will be in your Windows.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Right.
this is the users folder. For my the
Right.
user ID is this. I will go here. I
Okay.
will just copy it over here. Now I have copied it. Okay, over here. Now
Okay.
let me show you the same thing from command prompt. Windows R, type CMD, it will open
Right.
command prompt. So this is the folder you can see users. This is my folder, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is my folder, users QBQC. And now I have placed this file over here. I will use the same command, connect from there. Let me just copy it. To copy anything on Mobexterm, you just have to select it, be copied or paste it. See, now I have connected
Okay.
from here also,
Right.
right?
So whatever you are doing at mobile Sam, I will do it on there.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can do it from here. That's totally fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's move ahead. Any
Okay.
other
Thank
question?
you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. No, no, not yet. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So we'll talk about users only today, and then we'll move ahead uh, from the remaining topics in probably next class. Okay. So users. So I was talking about any laptop system will have two kind of users. Even if you want to open a command prompt, okay, this will give you an option to either run as either normal open, run as administrator, or run as a different user. You see these options, right? So every device has an administrator user, or we also call it as a master user. So on Linux, the master or the administrator user is your root. He is the master of the server. This person is the master of my server. He can do anything. We also call it super user. There's nothing this guy cannot do on the server. Okay, his constituency is on the server only. Okay. So how do you become root? How do you switch? So right now, this is my IP address, but this is the user that I am logged into. I am logged into the CentOS user. That was the reason I was not able to do anything in the root directory. Okay, so this root user, his home is just like my CentOS user had home. So any other user, every user first of all has a home directory. By default, for every user or Linux, that home directory is in /home, then the username. Okay. For root, the home directory is /root by default. Okay, so if I just go to /root, it says permission denied because I am not the owner of this directory. I'm not root right now. Okay, but as soon as I switch to the root user, I will enter the /root directory. So let's change this user and become root. To switch to a different user, you can use command su hyphen username. Okay, since right now we want to switch to root, I will do su hyphen root. Now every time you do this, it will ask you for the password. That's quite logical. Every user which is sharing a laptop has his own password. Similarly on Linux, every user which is sharing the Linux environment will have its own password. Okay, right now I don't know the password of root, so the shortcut which has already been provided to CentOS is a sudo command, sudo su hyphen root. So sudo is basically a way to function as root without being the root user itself. So root, this guy doesn't, whenever he wants to switch to any other user, nobody is gonna ask him the password. Okay, if I would have been root here and if I would run this command, there was nobody who would ask me for password because I am the root, I am the super user. But if you want to act like root, if you want to work like root, root can give you certain privileges, and to access the privileges of root, this command is used, sudo. By default, when we install this CentOS and we connect to the CentOS user, right? CentOS has by default been given the sudo privileges. So we call it a sudo privilege. Sudo means you can act like root. So I will use sudo only to become root. I press enter. As soon as I press enter, now you can see I am root. I can also check which user I am using the command who am I. Who am I? He says you are root. And if I do pwd now, it says /root. So this is the base directory of root. And this is my user root. Okay, so now root can do anything. If I want to go back to CentOS, I don't need any password of CentOS. Let me just come out of that again. Now let's add some more users. Okay. Adding users. Basically, there are two commands. One is user add, followed by username. Other one is add user, followed by username. There is a small slight difference between what exactly these two do, but otherwise they will both add the user to your server. So I'll be using user add command. So user add followed by my username. Let me add my user Sahil. As soon as I click it, this user is created, but I would have to, so I can directly switch to this user from root easily like this, right? Sorry. So this is now I'm Sahil. But let's say other user, let's say CentOS wants to become Sahil. So he will ask for a password, right? So I can change that password for the Sahil user. And for that, I will use command password followed by the username. It says changing password. Okay, so after you add it, change the password using this command. So let me give it some password. It says password change. So now if CentOS would like to become root, now I have changed it to CentOS. So sorry, it would like to become Sahil. It will ask for the password. I can enter the password and I can become Sahil. Okay, so this command will be used to change the password of your user. And by default, as I said, the location for any user that you create will be in /home followed by the username. So /home followed by the username. But by default, the root location will always be /root. Okay.
Sahil, can you explain one more time the sudo command, sudo command?
Okay. No, this won't work for Sahil because it doesn't have a root privilege. So if I do sudo su, let's say root only, it says it is asking me for my sudo password. But even that won't work if I enter password. It says Sahil is not in the sudoers file. The incident will be reported. So that basically this will be reported to the root user. And that since I don't have access to the sudoers file, I cannot do it. But yes, if I log out and I become CentOS, this can do that. So even I can give permission to Sahil also, to become to use sudo command. I think that answers your question. Sudo.
Actually, if you don't need the password for if you use a sudo command,
Right.
there are securities. Like you can do anything with using the sudo command, and you don't need the
Yes.
password. Right?
So sudo basically means you are acting like a root, nothing else. So you are like you are only root. Root is only one user, right? But if others, if they want to act like root, they can use sudo. But yes, root will give that permission to them. So anything can be done using sudo or root user. So be very cautious when you are doing anything by root because it won't ask you the second time. It won't. It will just do that. Okay, let me tell you what wrong can be done. Okay, so if I do something like this, rm is a command to remove any file. Okay, so if I do rm, let's say -rf slash, this will destroy my server. And if since I am root, it won't even throw any error like permission denied or other stuff. So never ever do this. This is like a destructive command. And since you are doing it from root, you are the master. You are destroying yourself. Nobody will ask you. Okay. Okay, guys. So I think we'll call it a day for today. There are still some more things left with Linux, and you guys can practice some of these commands on your server also. And if you want to practice some logical questions related to Linux, so there is this very good website called HackerRank. It basically gives you a ranking also. Okay, so you have all these questions on Linux shell basically. We haven't used much of it right now, echo, looping, all these stuff. But yes, I'll discuss about them when we discuss Linux scripting or shell scripting. Okay, I am posting this on the chat. So you just make an account on this and start practicing your Linux skills. So these are very basic command, as I told you. There are other command also like echo. Then there are looping questions. Okay, so you can use that and practice that your Linux skills also. Let me just paste it on the WhatsApp group also. Okay, so you just make an account. I already have an account. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, so it will give you all those questions which you can solve. You can solve it as a challenge basically, and once you are through with it, I will also make it. Start when we do our shell scripting session. Then I'll also take you to this page and do these questions one by one so that we all can practice. And basically, it's going to rank you uh, on the basis of your questions, number of questions that you solve. Right now, my rank is around 9,000. I stopped working on this for around a month back since the last batch. Okay, so similarly, you'll also be given a rank on this page, and it might be some, there are various companies, organizations all around the world who have their account on this website. And if you are in let's say in your top ranker, they might start coming to you directly for your job opportunities. You know, so this is just like one website where you can practice Linux for now. Don't think about ranking and all those stuff. Just focus on your learning for now. And yes, there are various options. Directly, you can also find jobs. Good jobs from here. And not just Linux, there are other concepts also you can practice. And not just HackerRank, there are other. I think there is one more website called Code. I think something like that. You can figure out all those stuff and just focus right now on practicing these technologies which we are going to talk about. So far we have discussed about AWS and Linux. So start practicing it as much as you can. Most of the time, spend your time on Linux. Okay. I will also try to cover up as many commands as I can, and I will also take you to this practice of Linux once we are through with uh, once we are through with our shell scripting session. Okay, so let's call it off for today. I'm going to switch off my server as I told you. I'll stop it. Similarly, you also make it a habit to stop it every time, although it's appearing running right now. I think I'll have to again stop it. Okay, so make sure it's stopped actually. Sometimes the website doesn't respond. Now it's showing stop. Yeah, so there is no running instance now. The current one is stopping, so that's fine. Okay, any other questions, guys? I'm gonna call it off. Just make your server connect to it. For people who are facing issues with Mobex term, they can connect for using the command prompt. For now, okay, I'm not going to help you today. Probably just try that out. I think you can easily connect from there also. And if not, then probably in next class we'll talk. I'll give you the control to share your screen, and then we can troubleshoot your issues. Okay, any questions, guys? Anyone? Okay, if you still, just go through all this recording. Probably in 2-3 hours, I'll upload it, or to your morning it will be available. And I think questions might arise once you go through all these stuff. So don't hesitate and put your questions on the group, WhatsApp group. Okay, thank you for connecting. Good night. Goodbye.
Thank you.